Two friends just made a podcast. Two good friends just made a podcast. Two friends just made a podcast. It's called Culture Bucket. Two friends just made a podcast. Two good friends just made a podcast. Two friends just made a podcast. Culture Bucket, Georgia and Alex.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode 97 of the Culture Bucket podcast. This is the universe's greatest podcast, and it's where two best friends talk all things pop culture. This week is a special episode. It's the finale of the Culture Bucket of Our Lives season that we've been doing. We're going to go through 2016 all the way through to 2022 and talk about our favourite movies and albums and maybe video games from all their years. It's gonna be really good. But before we get there, just a little reminder that we would really appreciate it if you would rate and review us on all the various places that you can, such as Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And come and talk to us on social media. Go to the link tree in the show notes to find access to all our various different channels that you can contact us on, and it would be great to hear from you. Thank you so much. Hi, I'm your host, George. And with me is your co-host, Alex.
Hi,
Alex.
George.
Hi.
Did you forget? Hi, everyone. Did you forget your where you were?
Yes, I did.
Oh,
But I'm back now.
good.
How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm very good. How are you today?
Good.
Good.
2016. Let's talk about 2016.
Yeah.
Let's get straight
With
into
films, it was really hard. There's some really good films that came out in 2016.
it. Yes, there are. Do you want me to run through some of them?
Yeah.
Okay. Under the Shadow.
Hmm.
Set in Iran. A story about a genie, kind of horror ghost film. Very good. Love it. Hunt for the Wilder People, Taika Waititi's movie
Wonderful film.
about the social services in New Zealand and adoptive families and things. It's a beautiful, wonderful film. Swiss Army Man.
I still haven't watched that one.
It's a good film. First film from the Daniels, directors of last year's Everything Ever All at Once, which was a big beloved movie. Swiss Army Man is smaller and weirder somehow. It's about Paul Dano plays a guy who washes up on a deserted island, and the only company he has is a corpse, played by Daniel Radcliffe, that he turns into a raft that propels itself through farting. Pretty weird movie. The Love Witch, Zootopia, Hail Caesar, good Coen Brothers movie. Hush, one of the first films from Walt Flanagan. Is it Walt Flanagan or Mike Flanagan? Mike Flanagan? Walt Flanagan? Mike Flanagan? Walt Flanagan? What's his name? What's his blinking name?
I don't know. It's your film.
His name is Mike Flanagan. One of the first films from Mike Flanagan, who'd go on to make Doctor Sleep and The Haunting of Hill House and etc. etc. Not one of his first film he did for Netflix, at least, about a woman who is it's a home invasion movie. It's pretty fun. 10 Cloverfield Lane, John Goodman and what's her name? Mary Elizabeth Winstead's Cloverfield sequel set in a bunker. Terrifier, the first time we met, well, not the first time, but the first time in a feature film we met Art the Clown. Terrifying. Captain America Civil War, Iron Man and Captain America punching each other in the head. The Nice Guys, Shane Black's sort of 70s set comedy mystery film with Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe. It's a good film. Train to Busan.
What a film. Zombies
on a Train. The Wailing, which I don't think you've seen The Wailing, have you? But The Wailing is
I don't want to watch it.
It's so good. Korean film, Exorcist. It's like a Korean take on The Exorcist, but it's so much weirder and bigger than that. I love it. You should watch it. Everyone should watch it. Handmaiden.
Oh, what a film.
What a film. My Life as a Courgette.
Oh, yes.
Which we've talked about. Personal Shopper, one of Kristen Stewart's best performances in that movie. Really good film. Your Name.
Incredible
Your Name
film.
is one of the greatest movies. One of the greatest, probably my favourite anime film. It's a very good film. A Dark Song, a very small film set in Wales about people trying to do black magic to summon a demon. It's a really good film. A Dark Song is so cool. Shin Godzilla, a really great Godzilla movie out of Japan, which is worth watching. Blair Witch, the relaunch of the Blair Witch Project, which I really enjoyed and no one else did. Kubo and the Two Strings, really good stop motion film, influenced by Japan. Prevenge, we've talked about Prevenge before, the Alice Lowe movie, where her baby is telling her to kill people. Pretty cool stuff. Free Fire is a Ben Wheatley film, probably my least favourite Ben Wheatley film, but still pretty good. It's got a big cast. Moonlight, which of course we've talked about at length. Arrival, fantastic Denis Villeneuve movie. Amy Adams gives a brilliant performance in it about aliens arriving on Earth and trying to communicate and the meaning of language and time. And it's so good. The Autopsy of Jane Doe, terrifying movie. Better Watch Out, really interesting, weird little Christmas horror film. The Edge of 17, which I think you've seen.
It's incredible.
Highly
So
Steinfeld
good.
movie.
I love that film.
So good. Mindhorn, British comedy starring Julian Barrett from The Mighty Boosh, very funny movie. Split, the M. Night Shyamalan returned to the world of good films with Split, James McAvoy, split personality, serial killer movie. Ouija Origin of Evil, another Mike Flanagan movie. And Rogue One, Star Wars Rogue One, which I'm rewatching at the moment, and it's great. But my favourite movie of 2016 is the French cannibal drama horror film Raw.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know it.
It's a very good film. I love Raw so much. I need to watch Titan again. Titan. The next film from the director of Raw, which I've seen once and was a bit confused by. But I'll get back to it. What was she called? Julia DeCarno? Is that the name of it? Yeah, Julia DeCarno. It's probably a badly pronounced version of that, badly pronounced. Anyway, any movies that I haven't mentioned?
You've mentioned a lot of films that I really enjoy. Films that you haven't mentioned is After the Storm, a film by Hirokazu Koreeda. Really amazing film about, family. Like he loves, this is a broken family and they have to deal with the typhoon. This broken family has to deal with a typhoon and they have to be in a place all night long. Really, yes. Moana came out in 2016. Love the soundtrack, love the film. It's so good. And then a film called Sandstorm, which is about a Bedouin village in northern Israel, and it kind of shows how relationships work there with with various wives and houses and money, and so it's a really good film, and it's on Netflix. So if anybody fancies watching something a little bit different, it's a Sandstorm. Whiskey Tango Foxtrot.
Oh yeah,
I love that film. It kind of shows you how much reporters want to have a story and do anything for a story in wartime and kind of lose their humanity in a way. Captain Fantastic. Don't know if you've seen it.
Oh no, is that Viggo?
Yeah,
Mortensen?
Viggo Mortensen, and it's just a really lovely film with that kind of not many people talk about. And I know it's not one of the best films, but Ghostbusters 2016, I think it could have been a good start to a new era of Ghostbusters, but of course because the Ghostbusters were all females, it was not acceptable, and so it kind of flopped and we never had anything else again. But I think we need to appreciate that film. I can't decide between two films in 2016, so I'm going to have two best ones. It's our podcast. We make the rules.
Okay.
Why not?
Well, go on.
2016, you went to a long list about everything.
There's a lot of movies.
There's so many movies. Well, okay. Second place, I'm going to go for Your Name.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Very good film.
Best film ever. And in first place, Moonlight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Moonlight's a very good movie.
Yeah, it's an incredible movie, and I love them both. So,
how are you? What about music? Have you got a lot of albums from this year?
I've got a few albums. Yeah, definitely.
Me too. I'll go through a few quickly. including Atrocity Exhibition by Danny Brown. It's a very good experimental hip-hop album that I really love from that year. Skeleton Tree, Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. A big one that has to be mentioned, Blonde, Frank Ocean's magnum opus. And 2016, and we still don't really have a new album from Frank Ocean.
I know.
Yeah, but is he headlining Coachella, I think? I think he is.
Don't know.
Let's find out. Clickety click 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 click.
Clickety click click click. Clickety click click click
click. No. Yes. Yes, he is headlining Coachella this year. So maybe that means there's new music coming from him.
I hope so.
So do I. We'll see. As well as that, we've got Let's See California from Blink-182. One of their albums without Tom DeLonge, but I listened to that album so much when it came out and fell in love with it. A Moon-Shaped Pool. The last Radiohead album as well. That seems mad. Come on, Radiohead. Come on.
Insanity.
What else have we got? Lemonade from Beyonce.
Yeah, that's a great album.
Yeah, when Jay-Z cheats on you, make lemonade. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty powerful stuff. Metal Resistance from Baby Metal, where they really kind of it was a pretty incredible album. Kendrick Lamar did Untitled Unmastered, his collection of offcuts from To Pimp a Butterfly, which is as good as most of her albums managed to be. We had the final ever album from David Bowie, Black Star, which I still struggle to listen to without getting upset, but it is great. But I think my favourite is an album that I didn't listen to in 2016 because I hated the title of it, and it took me a few years to come around to loving it.
Yeah.
It is an album called I Like It When You Sleep, For You Are So Beautiful, Yet So Unaware of It, by the band The 1975, who have gone on to be very, very big, obviously, huge band, and I like most of what they've done, but this album in particular, I love the number of different textures and sounds and sound ideas that they explore on this album. It veers from Huey Lewis and the News inspired 80s pop rock to like Sigur Rós inspired post rock kind of soundscapes. It is brilliant, and people should check it out. Any albums I haven't mentioned?
Any albums you haven't mentioned that I love? So, Run the Jewels 3, Run the Jewels, did it come out that year?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, because I put it, and I'm shocked that you haven't put it.
It did come out in 2017. Oh no, hang on, what year are we on?
2016.
2016. I might have it on 2017.
Oh, when did it come out?
Well, I just don't have it at all, surprisingly. It came out digitally in 2016 and physically in 2017. Oh. So yeah, it's 2016.
Okay.
Really. But I managed to miss it. It's not my favourite Run the Jewels album, to be fair.
Yeah, but I love all Run the Jewels, so I'm just
That's fine.
And then Awaken My Love, Childish Gambino, great album. 22 A Million, Bon Iver. I really like that album. Oh, yes. Michael Kiwanuka came out with Love and Hate. And Radwimps did the soundtrack for Your Name, which is one of my favorite films as well, and they it's incredible. But my favorite album of the year is Blonde by Frank Ocean.
That is fair. It's a very good album.
Yeah,
well done. I agree entirely. To very quickly touch on video games. Some good video games came out this year. Hitman, the first Hitman game from the latest trilogy, was released, and we've talked extensively about how much I love that. Titanfall 2, a game where you pilot a big robot around, and it's one of the best first-person shooter single-player campaigns in history. Overwatch came out that year. Uncharted 4. Farming simulator Stardew Valley was released in that year, which is a great game and stands the test of time. Firewatch. Firewatch is a really wonderful game where you play as a guy who's been hired to watch out for fires in a national park basically in America, and the entire game is you wandering around the park and kind of just exploring what's led him to be there and having a little, it's like a small story told in a small scale in a beautiful way. And yeah, Firewatch is a great game. My favourite game from that year is the game Inside, which is a side-scrolling dystopian weird nightmare future game where you play as this little boy making his way slowly into the centre of a facility, and once he gets to the centre of a facility, I'm not going to spoil what happens, but David Cronenberg wouldn't be able to think of it. is pretty great. Inside is a really good game. I love it. So yeah, there we go.
Nice.
2017.
2017.
Next. Another one with quite a few movies. Let's go.
Go.
Thoroughbreds. Have you seen Thoroughbreds?
Nope.
You've missed Thoroughbreds because I think you'd like it. It stars Anya Taylor-Joy.
Oh.
And Olivia Cook. It's Olivia Cook from Oldham, from around here. Around Manchester way. Yeah, Olivia Cook. It's a movie. Thoroughbreds is a film about two young women who are very bored. They're both from, one in particular, from very rich backgrounds and are left pretty much to their own devices during the day, and they get up to various trouble and find themselves involved in problematic things. It's hard to explain Thoroughbreds, and also I haven't seen it since 2017, but it is a good film. And yeah, it's a good early performance by Anya Taylor-Joy. Worth checking out. Call Me By Your Name.
Yes.
The non-cannibal movie, but featuring a potential cannibal.
Yes.
From last year's Bones and All director. What's his name? Luca Guadagnino. And Timothée Chalamet. Good stuff. Get Out.
Yes.
Jordan Peele's the thing that brought us Jordan Peele and changed horror in a big way. What else have we got? John Wick Chapter 2 came out that year. Love that movie. John Wick Chapter 4 is out pretty soon. I can't wait for that. Oh, it's going to be, I think it's 2 hours and 50 minutes long.
Oh my goodness.
John Wick Chapter 4.
But it's going to be like RRR. It's going to be so exciting.
I hope so. I really hope so. Logan, Wolverine, the Old Man Wolverine movie that Hugh Jackman made. A beautiful end to his career playing Wolverine, but no longer that, because now he's going to come back and piss about with Deadpool. I'm sure that'll be great. The Endless, the first movie I saw from Benson and Moorhead, two amazing horror directors that kind of play around with cosmic horror themes that I really like. What else have we got? Wonder Woman came out that year. It's a good film. Okja from Bong Joon-ho, good film.
Still need to watch that.
Yeah, you do. A TV show that people kind of insisted was a movie in a lot of ways. Twin Peaks: The Return came out in 2017 and kind of was the main thing, controlled my life in that year. Love it. The worst movie I've ever seen, The Book of Henry, came out in 2017, and everyone should watch The Book of Henry because it's it goes some way to describing, to explaining why the recent Jurassic World movies are so terrible, because don't let that man make movies, but also it's very entertaining and how bad it is. Oh, The Book of Henry. The Shape of Water. You didn't like that.
I did not like that film.
Big fan of The Shape of Water. It's really brilliant. Guillermo del Toro, modern day fairy tale thing. Lady Bird with Saoirse Ronan, wonderful movie. That one of the last movies Jennifer Lawrence made before she vanished for a while. Mother. Big controversial film. People hated it. Darren Aronofsky made it, and we've talked at length about how weird we are with him.
Yeah.
But I love Mother. I think that movie is great. 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, which again we've talked about at length. Yep. Good film. The first It movie, such a good film. The Death of Stalin from Armando Iannucci, and They're in the Apocalypse. That's a Christmas musical, zombie, high school comedy, romance movie. Too many things going on in that film. It's so good. Happy Death Day, Thor Ragnarok.
Love Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah. One Cut of the Dead, which we've come on, that movie.
Such a good film.
But ultimately, my favourite film of 2017 is Blade Runner 2049.
Still haven't watched it.
I can't get enough of that film. I can't believe that we got it. I can't believe that they provided the budget to make a film on that scale when it was effectively a sequel to a movie from 20, 30 years earlier that didn't do well when it came out. And, it's become a cult classic and a masterpiece, and everyone loves Blade Runner 1, but it didn't do well in the cinema, and to take a chance on letting Denis Villeneuve make this big 3-hour-long sequel was so crazy, and it didn't really fully pay off financially, but I'm so glad they did it because artistically that movie is a masterpiece. I love it. So yeah, Blade Runner 2049. What's your favourite movie of that year?
There's a couple of films that you haven't talked about. I, Tonya. I think Margot Robbie is incredible in this film, and Alison Janney playing her mother. I really like this film. The randomest film, one of the randomest film I've ever seen, Brigsby's Bear. Really,
Oh yeah.
I really like this film, and watch it. I don't know how to explain this film. And Beauty and the Beast, the live action adaptation with Emma Watson, came out this year, and one of my favorite cartoons, and I really liked this film. And then Hirokazu Koreeda came out with not a kind of a family drama, but more of a kind of mystery police drama, The Third Murder, which I think I made you watch because of The Last Shot.
Yes.
And I really like that film. But my favorite film of the year is 2017. Probably not a surprise. 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri.
Yeah, that is fair. That is a good movie.
I love that film.
Yeah, it's incredible. Music then.
Musica maestro.
Albums from that year. We've got, oh my word. Kendrick Lamar released Damn.
Yeah.
Pretty great album. Jay-Z put out his I'm Really Sorry apology album, 444. Let's see what else. Tyler, the Creator, put out Flower Boy. The first album of his that I really fell in love with. Like, I'd liked him for a long time, but Flower Boy was just this textured, incredible, beautiful thing. The way he uses synths in the album, it's incredible. I love it. Rainbow from Kesha, her sort of like kind of trying to take back a bit of control in her career album.
Love.
It's a really love that album.
Yeah.
Sleepwell Beast from The National, obviously, love it, and it won a Grammy, so get in, well done. Stranger in the Alps from Phoebe Bridgers, her first album, is obviously a masterpiece. Won't have a word said against it, thank you. And then a few others, Utopia from Bjork, Melodrama from Lorde, Mass Seduction from St. Vincent, but my favourite album from that year has to go to the debut album from Idols, of course, Brutalism. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, I've listened to a lot of that album over the years and I love it very much. Well done to them. How about you?
Of the ones that you didn't say, I only have a couple, which is A Reputation by Taylor Swift.
Oh yeah, I've never listened to that Taylor Swift album really. But...
Look what you made me do. Look what you made me do.
Song.
Look what you made. Yeah, and but my favorite album of the year 2017 is Process by Sampha.
Oh, okay, cool. What kind of music is that again?
Sampha is like Sampha. What kind of music does Sampha make?
According to Wikipedia, it's electronic, alternative R&B, and neo soul.
Yes, exactly. He's got a wonderful voice, and I love the album. But it's been 6 years and still nothing. And I'm sad.
Yeah, man, what's with people not making albums since that year?
Yeah.
Or since before?
Yeah.
We've got Sampha, Frank Ocean, Radiohead. Come back. Okay.
Yes.
Very quickly, video games. Some big video games came out in 2017. Little Nightmares, Hollow Knight, Hellblade, Nier Automata, Resident Evil 7, Horizon Zero Dawn, Breath of the Wild, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, widely considered a masterpiece. My favourite game from that year, though, is Super Mario Odyssey, because I love Super Mario.
He is the best.
Yeah, Super Mario Brothers movie is out pretty soon.
Yeah.
I'm getting more and more excited. I can deal with Chris Pratt, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll see, but I can't wait. Okay. 2018.
2018.
A lot of films. Sorry to Bother You.
Yes.
Boots Riley's debut feature with Lakeith Stanfield, kind of weird sci-fi film. Love it. Black Panther. From, the great Chadwick Boseman's kind of defining film. Will be remembered forever for that one.
Yep.
Annihilation, which you didn't like, but I do like. Isle of Dogs from Wes Anderson.
Yes.
Game Night, which we talked about last week, with the comeback with Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves. Yeah, Game Night was brilliant.
Film. Yeah.
Blockers, which we watched together.
Yeah.
Good film.
It is good.
A Quiet Place, which we also watched together.
Yes, I think on the same holiday in your house.
I think it was the same holiday. Yeah. Hirokazu Koreeda's Shoplifters came out that year. Yeah, and won a lot of awards. Yes. It won the Cannes something, I think. Anyway, yeah, it's a good film. A film I adore, Under the Silver Lake. Have you seen that? Did I
Yes,
make
I
you
did.
watch that?
Yes, I didn't like it at all. I would just like it was too
The
confusing for
best.
me.
It's the best.
No.
It's the best. Spike Lee's Black Klansman,
Yes.
overlooked at the Oscars that year brutally. Should have won stuff, but didn't. It's a great movie. What else have we got from that year? A Star Is Born, Suspiria. The Halloween kind of reboot came out that year. A film that again that I liked that you didn't like. Her Smell was from 2018. And what else? Ralph Wrecks the Internet, second Wreck-It Ralph movie. I think we
Yes.
talked about that on the
I
podcast.
like
That's
that
a cool
one.
film. Yeah, I like that one. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse
film.
changed animation
Yeah.
forever. We talked about that last week with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film. But of course, for me, 2018, you can't have anything other than Hereditary.
Yes.
The great and most perfect film, Hereditary. Immediately a horror classic on release.
So
and
good.
For good reason. Love that
And
film.
I'm glad you made me watch it. I'm glad that
I
because
didn't think you'd watched Hereditary.
Hereditary is the one with
Yeah.
the Tony Collette.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to watch it.
I thought you watched Midsummer. I didn't think you
I watched Hereditary too, and we talked about
Oh.
it as well.
Did we?
Yeah, and I'm glad I watched it because
yeah.
it's amazing, but it did terrify me.
Good.
Yeah, I watched it. What? See, I do these things for you, George. I watch these films,
Thank
and you don't even remember I watched them.
Because I remember you always saying that you would only watch it with me, and we haven't watched it together.
Well, I'm never watching it again. That's the thing. So
That's fine. Okay. What other movies?
What other movies? A French movie called Bad Seeds came out that year. About a man that is from I don't know exactly either. I think Tunisia, but is living in France and having issues with the law and taking on a class of kids that have difficulties, and him understanding their difficulties and changing them. Really nice, really good film. Bohemian Rhapsody came out in 2018, and I don't know, I just love Queen, and the ending scene made me cry like a baby. So yeah. And then an animation called Mirai by Mamoru Osoda. Not his best, but I do love that film. But my favorite, Dead Pigs, which I spoke about a few episodes ago. I watched and I really enjoyed it. I didn't really know how to explain the film, but I hope I did my best. But my favorite film of 2018 is, of course, Hirokazu Koreeda's Shoplifters.
Fair. It's a very good movie that you made me watch.
Yeah.
I'm glad I watched it.
Yeah.
Musically, again, a fair number of things. No Name brought out Room 25,
Yes.
an album I think we both enjoyed quite a lot.
Very much.
Jack White brought out Boarding House Reach. Again, an album I think we both enjoy.
Yes.
Yeah. What else have we got from that year? Janelle Monáe's Dirty Computer, which I know you absolutely adore, and I also absolutely adore. And where again, another like that. Where's your next album, Janelle Monáe? Where is it? What's going on? Come on, Janelle Monáe, sort yourself out. We've also got, let's see, Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino from Arctic Monkeys. I adore that album. Kids See Ghosts by Kids See Ghosts. I'm trying to avoid talking about Kanye too much recently, as we've discussed.
Yeah,
but that album in particular is just gorgeous.
That album is incredible.
Yep. And you have The Snitch by Death Grips, a kind of aggressive, weird album I really enjoy. And then I'm struggling. Because I've picked albums by both of these artists before, but I mean it has to be one of these two. We've got A Brief Inquiry into Online Relationships from the 1975, and Joy as an Act of Resistance from Idols. And I think I'm going to have to say that my favourite album of 2018 is Joy as an Act of Resistance by Idols, which gives them 2 in a row, baby. Well done, Idols. You're the best. Adore you.
Yeah.
Don't stop. Never stop, never stopping. What's your favourite?
So of the ones that you only a couple that you haven't mentioned that I like is Lucy Dacus released Historian in 2018, and I really like that album. But my favourite is Kids See Ghost. Kids See
Kids
Ghosts.
See Ghosts
I'm
sometimes.
sorry, that album makes me cry and feel lots of things, and it was a different time.
It was a different time. It's a masterpiece. Video games very quickly. Red Dead Redemption 2 came out that year. God of War, the reboot of God of War. Into the Breach, which is a really cool little... you can play it on Netflix, actually. If anyone has Netflix, they have a game section, and Into the Breach is on there, and it's a really cool little turn-based strategy game. Celeste is a brilliant game, platformer, very difficult, challenging platformer with a really lovely little story going on. Spider-Man, the Spider-Man kind of PS4 game that took over the world, really good. Return of the Obra Dinn is a game where you are playing as an insurance agent who has to calculate the insurance due on this ship that everyone died on in like the 1800s. There's nothing else like Return of the Obra Dinn, and I really love it. But my favourite game of that year is probably the one I have put the most hours into, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, the ultimate game of being able to make Mario punch Luigi in the face. It's pretty good. So yeah, Smash Bros. Ultimate's my favourite video game of that year.
Nice.
And then we get into 2019.
Yeah, that's only like 4 years ago.
I know, we're getting into like, there's movies on this list that we've done specials on and things like that. It's interesting.
Yeah.
So, of course, we have to mention the best film of the year first. It's not my favourite, but it's the best one that came out that year. Cats.
Stupid. I was like, that's not how we do it.
We'll always remember Cats.
Yeah. Did you watch it?
Cats?
Yeah.
I've seen Cats.
Yeah.
Have you seen
No.
Cats? Oh,
I don't do musicals. And if I do, they have to be good.
James Corden's in it.
Oh, you're so... Jamie Lee Curtis went on his show and said he was wonderful, so...
I don't care. She says everyone's wonderful.
You just undermine what Jamie Lee Curtis says. That is
sure,
bad.
That's fine. I like Jamie Lee Curtis a lot.
No, you don't. Not enough.
Do. You know that I do. Knives Out.
Yeah.
Oh, do you know Knives Out is named after a Radiohead song?
Oh, no.
Off of Amnesiac.
Ah, I didn't.
And Glass Onion is named after a Beatles song.
Wow.
I think that's his thing, is he's naming all the Benoit Blanc movies after songs from various artists.
Love it.
I love it as well. Little Tiny Little Women.
Yeah.
Minuscule.
I watched it again a couple of days ago.
Oh, really?
Oh my God, that film breaks me and I cry and I love it. It's so good. I love it.
Yep. It is spectacular.
Yeah.
1917 came out that year.
Yeah.
I like that movie quite a bit.
I do like that movie quite a lot.
Yeah. Doctor Sleep.
Mm-hmm.
An impossibility to make a sequel to The Shining and have it be good. Shouldn't be able to be done, but they did it. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
The Breaking Bad movie El Camino.
Yeah.
Not a masterpiece, but like a good, fun, an enjoyable capper on that story. The Irishman, a film I'll never watch again, but I think I liked it when I watched it.
It's like 6 hours long, isn't it?
It's very long.
Yeah.
It's over 3 hours long.
Yeah, no.
It's something like, it's mad. Nicolas Cage is The Colour Out of Space. What was my favourite movie of that year, Saint Maud, came out that year.
Yeah.
Along with, Knives Out was my favourite movie that year, but it's changed. It's not the same anymore. Jojo Rabbit.
Oh, what a film.
I feel like maybe the last really, truly brilliant thing I've seen from Taika Waititi to this date, Jojo Rabbit. A film we did a special on, Sound of Metal.
Sound of Metal. What a good film.
Yep, a film that makes me sad. Marriage Story, not an easy watch. Have you
I
seen
need to
Marriage
watch.
Story?
I still need to watch it.
It's just very, very good.
I know it's
like,
good.
Really, really good. Solid movie.
Oh, I know.
Adam Driver and
your fave.
Scarlett Johansson, but also the director is Greta Gerwig's husband, Noah Baumbach, who made White Noise. So if you want more Adam Driver and Noah Baumbach working together action, go watch Marriage Story. It is great, but it's a tough watch. Uncut Gems, the Adam Sandler masterpiece.
Uncut Gems.
Uncut Gems.
I was amusing Uncut Gems.
Was that Julia Fox?
Yeah. I have a real soft spot for her now. Like, I used to be like, who is this girl? And now I just love her.
There was some weird news. I didn't read the news. I saw a headline this week that her dad and brother had been arrested for having bombs in their house.
Uncut Gems?
Uncut Jams.
Uncut Charms.
Uncut Jams. There we go, yeah. Julia Fox stunned and heartbroken after dad brother arrested in drugs and weapons raid.
Wow.
Yeah,
But
strange.
do you know she's Italian?
Is she?
Like, I saw she was speaking Italian perfectly. And I'm like, what? She's such a mystery and I adore her.
That's weird. Oh.
Well, she's not
I'm not
Italian. She's like me, half and half. Well, I'm not half American, but...
Oh, that's annoying.
What?
I don't know if I'll be able to see this. Oh, no, maybe I can.
Uncut Charms?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you something. I read a news story the other day. It's about words. Oh, no, I'm not going to be able to get it up. It's a sort of thing that you need like an account to get onto. I'll try and get it up in a minute. It's not relevant to any of this. It's about words that don't have a direct English translation, and one of the examples is a word that is supposedly specific to Bologna, and I wanted to know if you'd heard it. Never mind. So, Joker.
Yes.
Ready or Not. Ready or Not, directed by the directing duo known as Radio Silence, who went on to make the recent Scream movies that I talked about last week.
Mm-hmm.
And Ready or Not is so freaking good. And there's a scene in... Because Ready or Not, you've not seen it, have you?
No.
It's great. It stars Samara Weaving as a woman who's about to marry into a very rich family. She finds out that they're like a gaming family. They run a board game company. So on the eve of whenever anyone marries into the family, they have to pick a card, and there'll be a game on the card, and they have to play that game in order to marry into the family. And the game she picks is hide and seek.
Oh.
And obviously, because it's the movie it turns out to be that if they catch her, they'll kill her. So she has to survive the night without, etc. It's good. She's wearing a wedding dress, and she ends up with these ammo belts over her wedding dress and stuff. And it's a very cool, iconic look for Samara Weaving. And there's a scene in Scream 6 set at Halloween, and in the background you can see someone dressed up as her character.
Oh, wow.
It's a fun little Easter egg that I really enjoyed.
Just a second.
Crawl. Oh, yeah, go on.
I just need to release the cat.
Is that a euphemism for the toilet?
No. No, she just wants to go out, and she's just being super needy. Andiamo, dai. Okay, I'm back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I just read you this article very quickly? I've got it up. Right. Some words are particularly revealing about the places they come from. Umarell describes an old man in Bologna who meets others at the edge of a building site to comment on the work that is going on. Have you ever heard that?
Can you please spell it for me?
Umarell.
Umarell.
Yeah.
Umarell. Bolognese Omarello, yeah, Omarello.
And what does it mean? Does it mean an old man that meets people at the edge of a building site to comment on the work?
Yeah, because there's if you go to a mechanic as well, it's not just for building sites. So if you go to a mechanic, there'll be lots of Omarelli just around, telling them, looking inside the car with their hands at the back of their and just going,
being like, oh,
and they, and giving advice, and you see them quite often. Yeah.
You see them all over the world, don't you?
Yeah.
But I didn't know there was. It's interesting.
Omarello. Quello Omarello là. Sì, yeah. But Umarell, I think that's dialect, yeah.
Fun.
Wow.
Okay. Toy Story 4.
Yeah.
Midsummer.
Yeah.
Which we love. I mean, that movie could be like this. God, there's some good movies
Yeah.
recently. Always Be My Maybe.
Oh, such a good film.
The Lighthouse, not so popular with you, but
Nope.
I like it. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yes, very good
which
film.
we love. Parasite.
Yes.
Another home run from Adam Driver, The Dead Don't Die.
Mm-hmm.
I love that zombie movie. Avengers Endgame, obviously, biggest movie, etc. Booksmart.
Yes.
Us.
Yes. Which I haven't seen, but I want to see.
But it's so good. Captain Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
Fighting with My Family. Imagine being Florence Pugh in 2019 and bringing out Midsummer and Fighting with My Family.
And Little Women.
And Tiny Little Women.
Yeah.
Yes. Incredible.
It's so good.
But my favourite movie of 2019 is a movie that I only saw quite recently, and it's still just, when I think of it, my heart grows 2 sizes. It is the movie Bait.
Oh.
The Cornish movie Bait, which I talked about a few weeks ago. That movie is a masterpiece, and I adore it, and I'm so glad that I've seen it. So,
is it not the film Yesterday that you really enjoyed?
Anyway, what movies did you like that year? Not that one, presumably.
Little Monsters came out in 2019.
That's a good film. It's got Taylor Swift song in it.
Yes, I really just a fun film. Sorry We Missed You, a film by Ken Loach that is about the gig economy, and it's just it just destroys you, and it's all true, and yeah, and that's why it's so sad. Hirokazu Koreeda moves to France to direct Catherine Deneuve and Juliette Binoche and Ethan Hawke in The Truth. Film that I really enjoyed. I don't know how I managed to do a French film. A documentary, Knock Down the House, about the rise, the rise of AOC, and I really enjoyed it. Kind of, I tried to understand a little bit more American politics and how it works, which is a mess. And then you've said a murder mystery. I quite enjoyed that one with Adam Sandler and Jennifer Aniston. They're a couple. They're a little bit bored, and they go and they have to solve a murder. Not as good as Knives Out, that came out the same year, but an enjoyable film. But and then Bethany runs a marathon. It's a film that it kind of starts in a way and then kind of ends in a different way, with Gillian Bell, about a woman that wants to just lose weight, but it was a refreshing way to see how, because a refreshing way to portray that it wasn't about the weight, but it was about her. So it's just kind of really, really good, from a point of view of a woman. But my favorite film of 2019 is The Farewell, which stars Aquafina, and is about how in China people deal with somebody dying, which is very different from what Aquafina's character thinks is the right thing, because she's a Chinese origin but was born and lives in New York, and it's a wonderful film which everybody should watch. Directed by Lulu Wang.
Yeah, I've still not seen it. I need to watch it.
Yeah. You will laugh, you will cry, you'll be confused on how you feel. Yeah, lots of things.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Music then from 2019.
Yes.
Quite a lot of good stuff this year. The National brought out I Am Easy to Find, which they made in collaboration with filmmaker Mike Mills, who made a short film that's soundtracked by it. It's a cool project. Igor from Tyler, the Creator. Big, good album. Schlagenheim, the first album from Black Midi, is great from that year. Doggerel, the debut from Fontaines DC. Some really good debuts this year. Untitled, Rammstein came back with an Untitled album after a decade away, and it's great. And I'm going to talk about my favourite album of the year in a minute, which is also a decade-long wait from another band. Dave put out his debut studio album, Psychodrama. Bit of a masterpiece there. Experimental hip-hop collective Clipping released their Existed an Addiction to Blood, their horror-themed album, which is wonderful. Freddie Gibbs and Madlib put out a Bandana together, which is great. Billie Eilish released her debut studio album, When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go? Let's see, Slow Tie put out his debut studio album, Nothing Great About Britain. Again, good, but better things to come from Slow Tie.
Yes, definitely.
As we talked about last week. Odes to Joy from Wilco, that's a pretty fun album. Titanic Rising from Ways Blood, I really love that album, a really great singer-songwriter album, great vibes to that album. My favourite album that year, though, has to be Fear Inoculum, the first album from the prog metal weird band Tool, which we've talked about Tool, you know how much I love Tool. And that album just was like, to hear them again after so long was wonderful. I love Tool, and I love that album Fear Inoculum, so good work for them. Have I not mentioned anything important?
You haven't mentioned Lover by
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift, Lover. if you didn't like it.
No, I like it, but it's definitely like the following years are going to bring in the albums from
Yeah.
Taylor Swift that I really, really love.
Definitely. And Kiwanuka by Michael Kiwanuka is a very good album. But I think my favorite album of the year 2019 is Psychodrama by Dave.
Yeah, that is fair. I mean, it's yeah, such a good album. Very quickly, some video games from that year. We've got Control, which is a cool Twin Peaksy-esque, strange thing. I like Control. It's good. The remake of Resident Evil 2. I love that game. The Outer Wilds, space exploration game. A game that I think you saw me play maybe once, Untitled Goose Game, where you play as a little goose that has to go around and honk at people.
Maybe I saw you play it.
Yeah, maybe once briefly. It's a very good game. But my favourite game of that year, and one of my favourite games of all time, and you can just you can see a poster for it just there.
Yeah.
Not that the listeners can. The RPG, strange, beautiful thing, Disco Elysium, came out that year with a soundtrack by the band Sea Power, which is one of the greatest soundtracks of all time. And you play as a disco cop who's trying to solve a murder while simultaneously coping with his alcoholism. It's an incredible game. Disco Elysium is perfect. Big love for that game. Yeah. Right, should we get into 2020?
The day, the year, the world.
Yeah, the worst year of all time. And my list of movies is much shorter as a result because not a lot happened in 2020.
Yeah.
Well, a lot happened in 2020 historically.
Yes.
There'll be books written about the year 2020 that were as long as books about the entire 90s.
We started our podcast in 2020.
Yes, because we had nothing else to do. But equally, there were some good things that year. Promising Young Woman came out that year.
Yeah.
Birds of Prey, which I love and you think is okay, right?
I haven't watched Birds of Prey. Or have I?
You have. The Harley Quinn film.
Oh, yeah. It was okay. It was just too much trying to set up things that maybe.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, yeah.
Brandon Cronenberg's Possessor came out that year. Beautiful film. His next movie, Infinity Pool, is out quite soon, and I can't wait for that. At Zola, which we've both seen, I think.
Nope.
You've not seen At Zola, the Twitter-based film?
No.
I thought you had seen At Zola. You'd like that film. You should watch it. It's good.
Yeah, you want me to watch it. Yeah, I remember you spoke about it, but yeah, I haven't watched it.
That's fair. Palm Springs, which you definitely have seen.
Love.
Very good film. The Father, really amazing performance from Anthony Hopkins and Olivia Colman in that movie. Yeah, The Father's a pretty great film. The Invisible Man, beautiful film in its way. Quiet Place Part 2. It's amazing that some of these films managed to come out that year, to be honest. Host, the lockdown, one of the first movies to be influenced directly by the lockdown, doing a seance over Zoom. That's a great film. Nomadland, of course.
Yep.
Which we talked about extensively. I Care a Lot. You've seen that, haven't you?
No.
Have you seen I Care a Lot, the Rosamund Pike film?
No.
That's a good film. It's a good film. Freaky, body swapping slasher movies, very, very good. And then two movies. All right, not my favourite movie of the year, but very, very close, is the Mads Mikkelsen film Another Round.
Okay.
That explores what it's like when a group of friends decide to keep their alcohol level in their blood at a certain point. It's Another Round is incredible. Best dance scene in the movie as well. But my favourite movie of 2020 is the long, strange, weird, largely forgotten by mainstream culture horror thing, The Empty Man.
Oh.
Based on a graphic novel. It incorporates elements of The Wicker Man, it incorporates elements of slasher films, it incorporates elements of conspiracy theory movies, it does everything in nothing, and it's weird and great and wonderful, and I love it, and not enough people have seen it, so yeah, that's my favourite movie of 2020, The Empty Man. People should check it out. Stars James Badge Dale, who played a character in 24 years ago and has done sort of nothing since. It's a little movie that people didn't watch and didn't like and didn't make any money, but I really love The Empty Man. People should check it out. What's your favourite film of the year?
You haven't mentioned a few films, two films starring Chadwick Boseman, his last two, I think, or some of his last two. Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. He's incredible in it, and I think it's one of those scenes where I think he knew he wasn't going to be living long, and he has a beautiful monologue, and I cried a lot. And Da Five Bloods, directed by Spike Lee.
Oh
I
yeah.
really like that film. And it's kind of really heartbreaking. One of the actors saying that they thought that Chadwick Boseman was a bit of a off with them, but it was because he was super sick at the time that he was filming this, and you can see it because he looks sick. And and then an Italian film directed by Edoardo Ponti, The Life Ahead, starring Sophia Loren, who is his mother. So Sophia Loren has left, one of the greatest actresses in Italy, has left the acting scene, but her son was like, you have to come in this film, and she's amazing in it, and even in her retirement she's incredible. True Mothers, a Japanese film directed by Naomi Kawase. Really heartbreaking, trying to decide who you're supposed to, about children and stuff. Shiva Baby, which you haven't seen, but yes, and wonderful, funny film. The documentary Athlete A, about the athletes that were abused by the Dr. Larry Nassar. Such a heartbreaking documentary, but a must watch. Dating Amber, a film that I spoke about a few weeks ago on the podcast, set in Ireland, about trying to figure out somebody's sexuality. And Minari came out that year, nearly my favorite film of the year. I don't know if you watched it. I think it was about.
No, I've not seen Minari.
Yeah, about a Korean family moving to the countryside in America. Emma, I love that film, starring Anya Taylor-Joy. But my favorite film of 2020 is Promising Young Woman.
Yeah, that's fair. It's a good film.
Yeah.
Good call.
Yeah.
Good call.
Too many films in 2020, actually. There are quite a lot.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Even music. I'm quite...
Yeah, music. There's a fair amount of music to talk through. Dua Lipa put out Future Nostalgia that year. A really great pop album. Oh, you're making a weird face.
I didn't like it. It's not my cup of tea. Maybe I listened to it again, and maybe it was at a different time. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Gigaton, the most recent album by Pearl Jam. I like that album. What else? Fontaine's DC came back with their second album, A Hero's Death, to show that they were prepared to kind of really change up their sound on all their releases, which is cool. Plastic Hearts from Miley Cyrus, which we've talked about that at length. Wonderful album.
Yes.
Imploding the Mirage, the album that really made me finally fall in love with the Killers after years of being pretty so-so on them. What else? Clipping came back with the second half of their horror experimental thing, Visions of Bodies Being Burned, a wonderful album.
I love that album.
Haim came out with Women in Music Part 3.
Yes.
I think the album where Haim really I liked the other albums, but Women in Music Part 3 feels like the album that they were trying to make from the start, and it's just amazing. RTJ4,
yes.
Jules 4.
What a great
Let's
album.
Go. Ultramono from Idols, which we've talked about at length. Not their best album, but their big kind of, I don't know, their big maximalist thing.
Yeah, I liked it.
I like it as well, but yeah, it's interesting that they got to number one with it, and it seemed like their big kind of commercial album. But Crawler from the following year that we'll talk about, I'm sure, is their kind of artistic breakthrough, I think. Folklore and Evermore from Taylor Swift. She came out of a 1-2 punch of Aaron Dessner produced albums, and they're amazing. And now we love Taylor Swift. Yeah, is the same thing going to happen with Ed Sheeran?
You never know.
No, I don't know about this. Ed Sheeran's releasing an album soon that he's written with Aaron Dessner, and it means I'm going to have to listen to it, and I don't want to do that. Fetch the Bolt Cutters from Fiona Apple.
Mm.
Pitchfork's favourite album that year, and when they tend to like when they really like something, they're often right about it. It's when they're wrong about things that we get annoyed at them.
Yeah.
But, or when they don't like things that are good. But yeah, Fetch the Bolt Cutters is so good. But my favourite album of that year is, of course, the second studio album from Phoebe Bridgers, Punisher.
Of course.
The album that sort of made me survive lockdown in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I listened to so much of that album that time. Yeah, what about you? Anything I've left out?
Blackpink came out with the album. It's a very short album, but Blackpink came out with something, and I'm still obsessed with the album. I really like it. Soccer Mummy, Color Theory, Heaven to a Tortured Mind by Ives Tumor, Fake It Flowers by Bia Badoobie. And half of this album I love, and half of this album I don't understand. The second half I really like, and you told me to listen to it, and is After Hours The Weekend.
Yeah.
I really like the second part of this album, so I'll only half of this album I think is worthy to talk about. The first part is like, but I think my favorite album of the year is probably Folklore by Taylor Swift.
That is a good call. Yeah, well done. That is so good.
Yeah.
And I just remember how exciting it was for her to just be like, here's an album.
Yeah.
And out of nowhere, she was like, here's the second album.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Good old Taylor Swift. Video game wise that year, there were some big ones. But again, not loads because of everything that happened. Resident Evil 3 remake came out that year. Ghost of Tsushima, which is a very good samurai game. The remake of Final Fantasy VII came out. Animal Crossing New Horizons came out. But there's only one game that you're going to find me picking as my favourite of that year. It is, of course, the sequel, The Last of Us Part 2.
Of course.
Probably my favourite game of all time, not just that year. And soon to be adapted into a season of television by HBO.
Oh, yes, baby.
Yeah. 2021.
2021.
The very recent past. And this year, there's quite a lot this year because a lot of stuff got pushed back.
Yes.
So then we ended up with a really bumper year of stuff. In the Earth, Ben Wheatley's folk horror film. Nobody, Bob Odenkirk's big attempt to do a John Wick thing, and it kind of worked. And well done
so
him.
good.
Yeah.
It was so good.
The Mitchells versus the Machines.
Yes.
An amazing animation. I love that film. Emma Stone's Cruella, again, better than you'd have thought it was going to be. A few other things. The Worst Person in the World. We talked about that. A film I have a really soft spot for, Stillwater, the Matt Damon movie where he goes to live in Versailles. Very good film. Lamb. Very weird movie. Nit Tram, the very upsetting film about the man in Australia. A horrible film, but really good. Pig, a film we did a special.
Yes.
Yeah. The Green Knight, Mad God, the stop motion animation, sort of masterpiece thing. The Candyman reboot came out that year. Ghostbusters Afterlife. All these films feel so recent. It's crazy.
I know.
I mean, it is recent, but I guess it's a year away. It's over a year away because 2021. Malignant, the bonkers movie that I absolutely adore, horror film. King Richard, that Will Smith went on to win an Oscar for. And
yes, and messed
that.
it all up.
Belfast, Kenneth Branagh's ode to his childhood. A gorgeous, beautiful film. The Power of the Dog, which we talked about that film a lot, and it is wonderful. Spencer, Kristen Stewart's incredible turn. The movie's not necessarily perfect, but her performance is pretty great. Last Night in Soho, which I really liked. You were quite mixed on.
I didn't.
But it's something.
Yeah, I need to enjoy. I mean, I enjoy watching her.
And I really like Matt Smith in that film as well. It's not perfect, but I have time for it. The Last Duel, the Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. I like that film. It's a good film. It's like an old school epic. I enjoyed it. Dash Cam. Controversial movie that I absolutely loved about found footage movie. The Black Phone is a very good horror film. The most recent James Bond movie, No Time to Die.
No Time to Die.
No Time to Die. The best Disney movie of all time, Encanto. Was released in 2021.
So good. Sorry.
Andrew Garfield's incredible performance in Tick Tick Boom was given to us in 2021.
So good.
Licorice Pizza, which it's featuring Alana Haim. Adore that movie. West Side Story, Steven Spielberg's remake, really like that. Spider-Man No Way Home, of course, blew all our brains out of our backsides. But the best film of 2021 is, without any argument, Dune, Denis Villeneuve's masterpiece.
Mm.
And pretty shortly we're going to be receiving
Yeah.
Dune Part 2, and I cannot wait.
And Florence Pugh is in it, so I'm even more
Florence Pugh's in it.
excited.
Austin Butler from Elvis is in it.
Yeah, and I hope we get to see Zendaya more, because in the last one we did not get to see Zendaya
Yes, that's
at
true.
all.
I'm sure there'll be much more Zendaya rather than just like a weird Vogue fashion shoot of Zendaya.
Yes.
Just lots of scenes of her kind of walking through sand in
Yeah.
the last one. Yeah, I'm excited. Any movies I haven't mentioned?
Movies that you haven't mentioned that I really liked. There are two Marvel movies that I liked: Eternals and Shang-Chi. Luca, Drive My Car, based on the Haruki Murakami book. This is a series of documentaries, but I'm going to put it as one. Is Summer of Soul, a documentary directed by, created by Questlove. I think that is definitely a thing that needs to be watched. Summer of Soul, about the same summer as Woodstock. There was another festival, the Harlem Cultural Festival, celebrating African American music and culture, and it's amazing, and it needs to be watched. And then, but I think it's a series, so it's not. I can just do what I want.
I mean, it won Best Documentary Film at the Oscars.
Yeah.
So I don't think it is. I think it is a film.
Okay, but I think it's in episodes. Is it not in episodes? I can't remember, but
I don't think it is.
okay. Well then, yeah, I love it. And White Tiger, a film with Priyanka Chopra and Hardash Gurav about just the rise of this Indian driver and using his wit to become very rich. Beautiful film, is on Netflix if anybody wants to watch it. Judas and the Black Messiah, with Lakeith Stanfield and Daniel Kaluuya. Daniel Kaluuya is perfect in this film. Even this, I think, is on Netflix, so watch it. Belle, Mamoru Hosoda, animation. Animation. And I think a film that is not great, but we enjoyed watching, and I think it was fun to watch, a classic horror story, an Italian horror film, and I think it was quite fun. The Hand of God, directed by Paolo Sorrentino, about 1980s Naples. That film broke me a little bit. And but Coda came out that year, and it got a lot of, maybe it was overrated a little bit, but I still really enjoyed it, and I think it was really, really good. How It Ends, a film about the last day on Earth. Beautiful. But my favorite film of 2021, and probably one of my favorite films ever, The Worst Person in the World. Coming of age for 30-year-olds. Perfect film.
Yeah, it's pretty much perfect stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. You ready for music?
Yeah.
I've got a stupidly long list here, and I'm not going to read all of it out. I'll just go over the important ones.
Yeah.
The debut from Black Country New Road for the first time. That band is great. The debut from Dry Cleaning, New Long Leg, also a great band. People should check out if they haven't. The debut from Olivia Rodrigo, Sour. Some really amazing pop music on that album.
Yeah.
Big fan of that.
Definitely.
What else have we got here? Let's see. We're All Alone in This Together by Dave. Continuing his streak of just artistic, beautiful things. We have the debut from Squid, Bright Green Field, an album I've got a big soft spot for. The second album from Billie Eilish, Happier Than Ever, proving that she is much, much more than a one-hit wonder. She's very, very wonderful. Sam Fender with 17 Going Under, a really amazing album from him. I really love that album. I Don't Live Here Anymore from The War on Drugs, an album we've done a special on, Crawler by Idols, which I adore.
Yes.
But my favourite is probably your favourite, because it's the best album of... It's just the best. It's so good. It's unbeatably good. Prioritise Pleasure by Self-Esteem is the best album of that year, and of most years. And
the fact that Prioritize Pleasure and The Worst Person in the World came out in the same year it's just the best combination of like things. Yes. Yes, I do agree with you. That is the best album of the year.
Thank you.
I've got a few that you didn't say though. Can I say them? Come
Yeah,
on.
okay, go on.
Come on.
Go on.
Sometimes I might be Introvert, Little Sims,
Yes.
Jubilee by Japanese Breakfast, Planet Her by Doja Cat. Really like that album. Little Nas X, Montero, and Tyrone by Slow Tie.
Good albums. Yeah. Good year.
Yeah.
Very quickly, some good games came out of the year. It Takes Two, a co-op only game where you kind of go through a marriage that's breaking up, but in like a really interesting, fantastical way. It's a good, weird, strange, brilliant game.
Mm-hmm.
Resident Evil Village, the 8th Resident Evil game, is great. Metroid Dread is great. Death's Door is this little independent game that I recently found out was made by 2 people from Manchester, so I love it even more. Unpacking is this game where you just unpack, like each level is somebody has moved into a house and you just have to unpack all their boxes. But it's the same person, and it's like starts off with their childhood bedroom and goes through to like them moving off to university and then buying their own home. And it tells this story through all of these unpacking of these boxes and placing things. It's this really calming, beautiful game. Life is Strange, True Colours is like a kind of indie teen drama turned into a video game, and I'm a big fan of the Life is Strange series, and I thought they knocked it out of the park with that one. It's so good. But my favourite game of that year is Hitman 3, and as a collection, the entire Hitman trilogy brought into one product, which happened with Hitman 3, and I adore Hitman 3.
Very good.
Are you ready for the last year?
Yeah.
The most recent year. It's very fresh in our minds.
Yes.
There's a lot to talk about. I'm just going to read this list. I'm just going to go.
Okay.
Scream, The House, Speak No Evil, Resurrection, Something in the Dirt, Jackass Forever, The Batman, Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Yes.
X.
Need to watch that.
Oh, yes, you do. I'm seeing the sequel tomorrow, and I cannot wait.
Exciting.
Yeah, stay tuned for a review of that next time. Bodies. Again, incredible. Ambulance, RRR.
Yes.
The Northman, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, Top Gun Maverick.
Yes.
Men.
Men.
Age Daydream, Crimes of the Future, the Bob's Burgers movie, Elvis. Have you seen Elvis?
Yes.
It's good, right?
Love it.
Should have been terrible, but it's not. It's brilliant.
Who?
Elvis.
Who said it was terrible?
No, it feels like it should have been terrible.
No,
it
but
feels like everything was against it, but it was.
It was so good. It's just, yes.
Decision to Leave.
Yes.
Skinamarink. Prey.
Mm-hmm.
Terrifier 2. Barbarian. Tar. Have you seen Tar?
No.
Oh, I'd love to know what you think of
Okay.
Tar. You should watch it when you can. The Wonder.
Mm.
Bones and All.
Yes.
The Banshees of Inisherin.
Mm-hmm.
Emily. The Woman King. See How They Run.
Mm-hmm.
The Fablemans. The Menu. Glass Onion. Confess Fletch. Smile. Roald Dahl's Matilda. Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, Avatar: The Way of Water, Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, All My Friends Hate Me. That's not a film, I'm just letting you know. And the best film of 2022, better than all of those huge blockbuster, etc., this, that, and the other. The best film of 2022 probably would be comfortably in my top 5 movies of all time. After Sun.
Yeah.
I almost want to just start crying. Just say it.
Yeah.
I love After Sun so much, and it's the best. And also, additionally, Paul Mescal is nominated for an Oscar.
Yeah.
And he probably won't win, but it doesn't.
He deserves it.
Just getting a nomination
out
the gate with a movie like that is amazing. Charlotte Wells, not nominated for Best Director, but nominated for Best Screenplay. And I think she's nominated for Best Screenplay at least. And, again, deserving of that recognition as well. I love After Sun so much. Just so much. Anything that I haven't mentioned?
So the things that you haven't mentioned, two of them I know you don't like, but I really liked Nope from 2022 and Bullet Train. I found it really fun, but
Bullet Train.
yeah, I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Not even gonna.
Maybe you should give it another go.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. And then the film that I spoke about, and then another film that wasn't very well, which I enjoyed, but nobody else seemed to have enjoyed. Don't Worry, Darling. I thought it was good. And then the film She Said, about the New York Times reporters Meg
Oh, I want
Twohey
to watch
and
She
Jodie
Said.
Cantor. Really, well, yeah, I spoke about it a few weeks ago on the podcast and I really liked it. Persuasion, an adaptation from the book of the same name by Jane Austen with Dakota Johnson. Loved. And I think you said everything else, I'll say again RRR because it's the best. But my favorite film of 2022 is a film by Makoto Shinkai, the same person that made Your Name, and called Suzume, which I don't think is out yet in
The rest of
Europe.
the
Yeah, but it was out in Japan. I understood very little, but it was just so beautiful to watch. And, from what I understood was very good. And that's my
wow.
favorite. Yeah. So the fact that I didn't really understand the story and it was just incredible. Beautiful.
Well, I can't wait for it to be more widely available.
Yes.
Nice. And just to correct myself, the only Oscar nomination after Sun received was Best Actor for Paul Mescal.
Really? Oh, wow.
Which, again, is unfair because that movie deserves more recognition than that, but also is a testament to just how good Paul Mescal is in that film.
Yeah.
Music then from 2022. Again, a big list. Let's see. We've got Wilco put out like a triple country album called Cruel Country, which is really good. Rina Sayama's Hold the Girl, which we've spoken about. Lucifer on the Sofa from Spoon, I really enjoyed. Fear of the Dawn and Entering Heaven Alive, the Jack White double bill.
Yes.
Big fan of that.
Yes.
Zeit by Rammstein. Not as good as the Untitled album they did, but really good still. Farm to Table by Barty Strange, which we've talked about. The debut album from Yard Act, The Overload, is great. Again, Wet Leg's debut album, Wet Leg, is also great. Stump Work from Dry Cleaning, really good album. Congregation from a band called Witch Fever, worth looking up, listen to. Kate LeBon's Pompeii is really
so
good.
Such a good album.
Return of the Dream Canteen from the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah.
Their second album of that year. Impera from Ghost, Pawns and Kings from Alter Bridge. Omnium Gatherum from King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. Ants from Up There by Black Country New Road. Their second album, Masterpiece. Also fascinating because the lead singer quit the band when it, etc. etc. Being Funny in a Foreign Language from 1975. One of their more straightforward releases, but really good. Taylor Swift from released Midnights, and that album is wonderful. Dragon You War Mountain, I Believe in You from Big Thief. The Car from Arctic Monkeys. Unlimited Love.
Yes.
From the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yes, please.
An album from, and then I'm stuck between like an album we've talked about a lot, and an album I haven't talked about much. The British indie band Sea Power put out Everything Was Forever last year, and that album, I really like that album, and it grows on me every time I listen to it. But obviously Kendrick Lamar put out Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, which I saw the tour for, and it just, the whole project is a masterpiece, and it's hard to really I think my head says Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, but I already gave it him for To Pimp a Butterfly earlier, so I'm gonna go with Everything Was Forever by Sea Power, because I think there's a lot that band does that people don't recognise them for, and I think that they should have more listening. So Everything Was Forever by Sea Power.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's my favourite album that year. What about you?
So some things I haven't mentioned. Painless by Niloufer Yanya. Capri Songs by FK Twigs. First album I listened to by FK Twigs. Love it. Hold the Girl, Rina Sawayama. SOS by SZA.
Oh, of course. How is that not even on my
I have
list?
no idea.
What am I doing?
I don't know. Like, you told me to listen to this album and I'm obsessed, so I'm not really
I love
sure.
it. I don't know how I left it off.
Renaissance by Beyonce. And then, of course, Mr. Morale and the Big Stepper, I'm going to mention again. But I think my favorite album, the one that I listen to the most, and I just love it, is Special by Lizzo.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fair play. Good stuff. I can't get more than 3 songs into that Beyonce album. I don't know.
I just love it.
I just don't like that kind of music. It's just not great. I can't find a hook into it. I'm going to keep going back to it because, Lemonade. I love Lemonade. But yeah, I've struggled with that Beyonce one. But I know Pitchfork said it was the best album. Yeah, so.
Wow. No. It's not as good as Lemonade. Like, Lemonade is unbeatable.
Yeah. But I should still give it more of a go.
Yeah.
Very quickly then to finish us off, video games from last year. There was some really bloody excellent ones, including Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Stray, where he plays a little cat, Neon White. I'm really enjoying that at the moment. Marvel's Midnight Suns, The Quarry, big horror game, which was really good. The remake of the first Last of Us game came out last year, and I recently played through that before the TV show started, and it's the most perfect thing. And then there's this game that I've been playing actually this week, called Citizen Sleeper, which is a bit like Disco Elysium that I gave my favourite game of the year to recently, a couple of minutes ago. And Citizen Sleeper is this incredible game that's all set on a space station, and he plays this robot that's had a human consciousness put into it, and you're kind of trying to survive on this space station. And it's all done through these. It's in days, and every day it rolls like 5 dice for you.
Yeah.
And then you have to do different things, and to do anything you have to use a dice. And if you use like a 6, then the chances of that activity going well are high, and if you use like a 1 or a 2, the chances of that activity going well are low. So you have to really prioritize what you're going to focus on, and it tells this incredible story with all these different characters, and it's this beautiful, hopeful thing about how life and consciousness matter. And Citizen Sleeper is incredible, and everyone should play it. I really, really love it. And you don't need to be into it's it's almost like a visual novel more than it is a game. I think anyone could play Citizen Sleeper and enjoy it, and it's great. And for my favourite game of last year, it goes between Citizen Sleeper and Immortality, the game where you're scrubbing through movie footage to discover what happened to the missing actress. And I think it is Immortality. I think that game is a masterpiece and one of my favourite games ever. But Citizen Sleeper, I'm playing it at the moment and loving it. So recommendations for that. And that brings us to 2023, which we can't do because it's not over yet.
No.
So
it's
yeah,
just
that
started.
brings us up to modern day. Although, if I had to very quickly pick, I'd probably say Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves and Ugly by Slow Tie.
Amazing.
So, homework.
Oh, yeah.
We've been setting each other a movie from each chunk of time.
Mm-hmm.
So far, you've set for me Summer Wars,
Mm-hmm.
Sleepless in Seattle, and City of God.
Yes.
And I've set for you Mulholland Drive.
Yes.
Heat.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the last one. Oh, it was A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night.
I don't know what to give you this time.
Well, what movies have you picked as your favourite movies from each year? Let's run through.
So, Moonlight and Your
Seen
Name.
Seen it.
3 Billboards.
Seen it.
Shoplifters.
Seen it.
No, The Farewell.
The Farewell.
Yeah, 2019, The Farewell.
Okay. You need to watch Bait.
Okay. It's funny because you always find stuff that I can't really, I don't know where to find, but I will find it.
Bait in the UK is available on the BFI player. I don't know if you can get the BFI player channel on Amazon Prime.
Okay, I'll check it out.
Probably a free trial of that available. So
okay.
Lovely stuff. So that brings us to the end of the culture bucket of our lives. And I now have a note in my notes app on my phone, which takes a solid couple of minutes to scroll all the way through, and basically just lists every single thing I've ever enjoyed ever during my lifetime.
Amazing.
Yeah, which is interesting. Yeah, it's massive. It just keeps going. Yeah. And next time we'll be doing some more culture catch up. Culture catch up, even.
Yes.
And then we'll be bringing you our special on The Last of Us, but we'll also be bringing you our special on the homework from our Culture Book of Our Lives. So we'll have to decide what order we're going to do all that in. But all those things will be coming up to you soon, along with more Culture Catch Up. So please do stick with us, rate and review us on all the various places you can. And we'll be talking to you about ways you can support us in the near future as well, which is exciting. So please keep your head up for that one. And it's been great to be with you. Love you very much. Hope you listen to us again in the future. Love you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.